Hi there everyone, meteorologist Robert Spetty here with you on the morning hours of the 10th of August 2013. If it is not Saturday and you're watching this video update, please do go to our website or check out our YouTube channel for newer updates. We're going to continue to keep you posted on the storm system that is, well, at least here on Saturday morning, rapidly intensifying. Really, the purpose of this update, we're going to go through each of the different agencies, which at this time seem to be having a hard time getting a handle on the storm system, and then I'll show you my thoughts of where it is going to be going and the impacts it is going to be bringing out here to the Philippines. So right now you are looking at the satellite imagery here, just showing that complete banding wrapping around the storm system. Great outflow aloft. It has the cut-off here in the northern periphery. If we pull back the picture, you can get a better idea of how well organized this area is here as it does continue to pull off there towards the west. So with that said, actually I'm very surprised it took so long for this storm system to be upgraded to a tropical storm. Last night I know we were up to about 2-3 a.m. in the morning waiting for the storm system to be upgraded. The Dvorak showed a rate around 50 to 60 knots at one point. So finally the Japan Meteorological Agency did upgrade this tropical depression, which looked like it was forming an eye wall at one point. Actually, I wrote an open letter to the Japan Meteorological Agency on our Facebook stating that an eye wall looked like it was attempting to form. And actually on this microwave imagery that you see here, I'll scroll down towards the bottom left of this image, you can see this complete banding and, well, some pretty good convection wrapping around that center. I'm not saying it's an eye wall. It's pretty ugly if it is an eye wall, but definitely one of the prettiest, or at least the most organized tropical depressions I've ever seen. But back to this, the Japan Meteorological Agency, their 18 UTC released right around 0400 in the morning update on Tropical Storm Utor. So finally, actually officially named for its international name. Labuyo is still the Pagasa name. 35 gusting up to 50 knots. There's a lot of stuff I do not agree with on this track. I know it sounds like complaints, but honestly, I don't like this track at all. I think it's too far towards the north and too weak. Winds 35, 40 knots, max about 45 knots, so they don't even really have it getting up to severe tropical storm intensity prior to, well, not even making landfall, which it moving through the Luzon Strait, I don't see that happening at all right now. I don't think it's going to push this far north. What I do agree with, and I know it doesn't happen too often, is I agree with the military guys over at the Joint Typhoon Warning Center in Pearl Harbor. Winds 45, gusting up to 55 knots at this time. So right now their current intensity is what JMA expects for their max intensity in the next 3 days. They expect it to max out at about strong Category 2, weak Category 3 prior to landfall here on early Monday morning just south of Isabela. So yeah, I do agree with this track. I do think this is much more plausible. Now JMA or JTWC not perfect because on their last warning the intensity was completely off with only a tropical storm prior to landfall here, but it does look like they're taking into account the genesis of this storm system, how rapidly it is intensifying. Also, as far as the track, I mean, just look at the consensus with the model. And yes, I'm a meteorologist, but it really take one to realize that this storm system will be making landfall here into northeastern Luzon. All the models showing a landfall at this time. Why JMA is pulling it north of all the models is beyond me. Maybe they're looking at something in their analysis, but really we have a high pressure ridge anchored over Taiwan, and look, a low pressure over the South China Sea, a low pressure area which is continuing to spin up here, was bringing some heavy showers actually to Palawan yesterday. These storm systems are like water. They want to run downhill. They don't want to run towards that high pressure off there towards the north. If anything, this would loop farther towards the south, towards that low, which is spinning out there in the South China Sea. So even with their analysis, it doesn't make too much sense to pull them. And then using the overall background flow, which has been rather accurate thus far on the track of this storm system, 850 to 500 HPA, just average steering flow out here. And if you look at this low pressure area, just follow the general flow. I do think that landfall south of Isabela, moving across Luzon, and this puts it closer to the Manila area and really right over Subic Bay. going through the day on Monday. So it does look like these damaging winds we mentioned that could be a possibility yesterday is going to be more likely today, just due to that high pressure ridge a little bit more in place and that low trying to pull this farther down there towards the south. So yeah, this time JTWC is the track I would go for here in the right front quadrant. Based on their intensity, it looks like we're going to be seeing a coastal storm surge even as far north as Apari. Those winds continuing to come ashore, possibly some damage due to buildings out here, especially when you get a strong Category 2 or weak Category 3 making landfall here in the northern Luzon. The east coast of Luzon, not completely, well, unheard of to get typhoons out here. The most hit area in the world as far as tropical cyclones go, but there is still the threat for damage. And then these winds are going to be wrapping around the storm system after it does track over Luzon. Let's zoom in at the GFS model outlook here. I'll show you where exactly I'm talking about with these winds wrapping around, at least at this time. And I'm going to be using GFS because it really has been doing a superb job as far as initializing the storm system. Picked it up about a week ago and it's just been forecasting it rather decently ever since. So let's scroll through here into the next, well, about 24 hours, continuing to roll off there towards the west, rapidly intensifying, showing winds on the right side of the storm system at typhoon strength here. This is going through, well, about Sunday morning, just towards the east of Luzon. If it stays on this westerly track, this would even put it even closer to Manila if it made it go due west. But even though that high pressure ridge is in place, there is going to be a slight west-northwest track on this storm system. You can see it rolling off there. But the reason why I point out that due west is because if that high pressure ridge does slightly remain in place at all, this could go on a more westerly track, and that will put you all there in Manila closer to the center of this storm system. Throughout the day here on Saturday going to Sunday, we're going to have a better idea on this, if it is going to be doing that or not. But everybody here across much of central Luzon, I think that you should be watching this very closely. Just taking a look at this wrapping right up. This is going through Sunday night. It does look like it's going to be a potentially very potent storm system prior to landfall here into, well, Monday morning. A little bit too far ahead of there. Let's pull it back into Monday morning, making landfall there around Cagayan, Isabela, then pushing across the island. And, well, GFS actually has it re-emerging here going into Monday afternoon. But these winds still wrapping around it, coming in from the southwest, going through Monday night. And that's when you're going to be seeing the funneling coming through Manila Bay. Any fishermen out here, this is not going to be the seas you want to be out in. I mean, it seems like every storm system we get coming through the Philippines here, people die because they venture out to the ocean when they probably shouldn't be, or we get ferries capsizing. Just try to stay on shore. If you can. This is just showing the WW3 model output a little bit too far towards the north, I think, but it does show these very high waves around the storm system. Then you have that moisture inflow with that enhancement of the southwest monsoon wrapping around the southern periphery, so seas down towards Visayas are not going to be so pretty, but also into Visayas. I know it's not near the center of the storm system, but we're also going to be seeing some heavy rainfall down due to that moisture inflow coming ashore. And, well, some of these areas still could be seeing up to about 200 to 300 millimeters of rainfall, especially there in the Luzon, where we're going to have the storm make landfall. But still, even on the west coast, and then that monsoonal moisture wrapping in, feeding into the storm system, and allowing it to, well, intensify further going through the next several days on Tuesday into Wednesday, where it very well could start to pull off here towards the west and impact southeastern China. And yes, that is including you here, possibly into Hong Kong, over towards Hainan. You do not need another storm system. We had Manghut just put through, Jebi prior to that. This island has just been battered by back-to-back storms, at least at this time. This particular model is pulling it farther towards the north. Some other ones pulling it farther down there towards the south. Actually, yesterday we had a whole fanning of the models with the high-pressure ridge in place. I do think that it is going to skirt south of Hong Kong here, move on shore into portions of Guangdong province before pushing off the Guangxi and also Hainan. But that is still a long range. What I can tell you right now, though, my thoughts, Northeastern Luzon, yeah, we're going to be seeing a typhoon making landfall by early next week. That is the down and dirty on it. You want to continue to watch a storm system, make preparations ahead of it. Pagasa, still warning on it, obviously. Labuyo, I'll show you the track really. They also have it just clipping right around Apari. I still think this is even a little bit farther towards the north, but everybody from Manila north just really needs to watch this. And like I said, we're still going to be seeing the heavy rainfall on the west coast of Visayas here, as well as that moisture just continues to wrap in. So an all-around potent storm system, and I do think it is going to be our second named typhoon of the year. Only one other one as far as typhoons, with Solik earlier on in the season, about a month ago. So if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please post them down into the comment box below. And as always, though, stay safe out there. I'm going to leave you here with the MIMIC imagery, microwave imagery here, just showing you the center of the storm system, and actually moved a little bit through the overnight, but really wrapping up rather decently. This complete banding coming around it, and definitely a very strengthening storm out here in the Western Pacific. Stay safe out there, everybody.